Talk about Hambly, unfortunately. So Jeremy Hambly, of course, who is now the major flaggot, and everyone is beating the out of him, and it's very funny. People have gone into the archives. They have literally downloaded every single video that Hambly has ever published, and they have captioned all of his videos, and they've taken the transcriptions and they put them into a giant repository. So now people get to search up everything he's ever said and should try and fuck with him. Quote erat demonstrandum. After Hassan Piker shocked his dog, people found this clip of Jeremy Hambly talking about the incident, which he had to prefix with some unusual declarations, I should say.
Now, again, I have said in the past, and I will say again in this video, I don't have a problem with e-collars. I have 3 German Shepherds, and I have used them in training in the past. I use them when we are out in public around other dogs that they might decide look delicious. However, I was properly trained on how to use the e-collar. And for the most part, I think in the grand scheme of things, all 3 dogs combined have ever been shocked maybe twice. Ever. Maybe only once. I used the vibrate feature. That worked fine. There's one time where Huck got a little hungry and was going to munch up a smaller dog, and he got a little zap.
Okay, so
now again,
Hambly, people are very, very opinionated about this. Obviously, animals are a very sore point. The rules of the internet were back in the day: no kids, no animals. Talking about shocking your German Shepherds because you bought 6 of them and you're too fat and retarded to take care of them is definitely one way to inspire hatred and contempt, even from people who like you. And I think this is a follow-up. He has 2 other clips about his shock his dog scenario.
Right. Well, I can tell you this as somebody with prey-driven dogs. I was trained by a trainer on how to use an e-collar and did use it when he was young, and he wears it when we are out in public. I have also used a pinch collar because that's all that gets a 100-pound dog's attention. Now, when does he wear that collar? At class and when we're in public. That's it. He doesn't wear it at home. He doesn't wear it when we're playing. He doesn't play it when we're on a regular walk. He doesn't even wear it at doggy daycare.
Doggy daycare. How can he afford doggy daycare for 6 German? Why do you need doggy daycare for 6 German Shepherds when you just stay in your basement all day? And this is him describing that he used these shock devices and other collars when they were puppies.
Source, I own 3 German Shepherds. I also had a Labrador before that. All 3 are trained reasonably well, I would say. They do sometimes do whatever they want, but they're 2, 3, and 4 years old. They're young puppies.
Sorry, I saw someone complain that the live chat is sub-only mode. That should not be happening. Give me 1 second, then I'll move on from this. Enable subscriber-only chat? Disable. No. I don't know if that's a misunderstanding, but I fixed that if that's the case. All right, so hypocrite art thou. He is using e-collars on his German Shepherds, which is not quite as egregious as what Hassan was doing, but it does make him look like a stupid asshole to people. Next, someone has done a breakdown on how Hambly's coffee operation is for sure 100% ran by Mill Creek Coffee. Mill Creek Coffee is a Salt Lake City roasters. They already know this, but they took inside photos of the building. They cross-compared it down. They found all the machines. And they actually found out, I think it was in this post, where they found out that Hambly, for his coffee brand coffee, had literally copied, like word for word off their website, how they described their coffee. And it was a direct match. So literally the whole shtick about how he owned a warehouse, he employed people, he had jobs on the line, that people needed to buy his coffee because he was an all-American roasting company using a family recipe. It is completely, totally demonstrably false, and he asked people to give him $100,000 to bail him out of consumer credit debt that he had incurred as a result of a production that did not exist. And me personally, I was ripped off. I reviewed his coffee only because I actually believed him because he even posted pictures of the guys from Mill Creek Coffee wearing his shirt to advertise that he had employees and he had a real legitimate operation. And he's just completely full of shit. I was scammed. I've been personally injured by this. I advertised this to my audience, and I said that it was a good coffee because I thought it was a good coffee, and apparently, I was taken advantage of, and it actually pisses me off. I don't like being lied to. Nobody likes being lied to their face. Now I was lied to my face. The flagging has continued. Mikey No More was flagged. Meme Copium's video about this was flagged. The Meme Copium video being taken down was especially egregious because it was flagged for content, and the content that was being flagged down was literally the videos that Jeremy Hambley posted on his own channel where he was harassing people, and that was enough for a flag on somebody else's channel, even though it was Jeremy Hambley's behavior. Also, it was discovered by somebody that part of the reason why Jeremy's views are going up is that he's buying ad space. If you run a YouTube channel, you've probably seen this feature on your dashboard, and you might be very curious who the would ever do this. And then you would assume correctly that this is a feature for people who run YouTube channels for brands. So if you're Clorox Bleach and you want to advertise Clorox wipes, you can make a 3-minute long video about Clorox wipes and then pay money to put your video in front of people during the interstitials of other videos. Jeremy Hambley's channel is dying so badly that he is trying to recruit new audience members to actually watch his streams that he puts out for free and sells no product on by paying to put the entire 13-minute long video in front of other videos. So this is a video by Clownfish TV that has fewer than 15,000 views, and Jeremy Hambley has paid an unknown amount of money to inject an entire 13-minute long video as one of 2 sponsored advertisements for this other channel. And by the way, he has been showing off that he has high views. And aside from the fact that his views are almost all coming from shorts now, it appears that many of his views are actually coming from paid CPM. So he's losing money to get the views, which is not indicative of a healthy, successful channel. Let's see what this shit is. The Quartering says, I will be appearing on tonight's Yellow Flash Guy show. Make sure you tune in. This is finally the time where I get epically owned. That is my thing. I say epically owned. I have never heard somebody else say epically owned like this. That is my thing. I feel like I'm being stolen, okay? It's time for me to be taken to task by an ultra smart guy, and so why not let it be on his show? I know copyright. That's my patent you're infringing on, bro. I'm taking you to patent court. And then he says, just big brain, super moral, godlike Yellow Flash versus me. I can't wait. I am super nervous, though, because he's likely to destroy me. But, well, a 1v1 is only fair. Then he posted a picture of Yellow Flash that has been alleged to be Yellow Flash. It was not reposted on the forum, so I can't show it to you. I'm not showing it out of like respect or whatever. It's not on the forum as far as I could tell. So this was squared up to happen, and now there is some confusion to me. When this happened, I actually posted to Yellow Flash because he announced it, and I said, like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Like, Hambley is a weasel. There's clips of him talking to Jim and to Keemstar, and when he gets on stream, you know, he's not entertaining. He's like deferential and passive aggressive, and he's not going to be taken to task. And really, this was my thought. This might sound kind of cringe, but I'm a big fan of like true crime, and I watch all those like police interrogation channels. And I'm also a big fan of like serial killer shows. Like I watch this series called Mind Hunters right now, which is about serial killer criminal pathology shit. And it's a dramatization, but that's what it's about. So I'm thinking like Jeremy is a liar and he's having to lie constantly. And from a criminal perspective, lying is a mentally taxing task. If you have to maintain lies, it is stressful, it's exerting. You have to keep your story straight. It's stressful to keep your story straight. And when you see a police interrogation and a person who's guilty and caught starts lying, they actually shut them down immediately because it gives them, according to forensic pathologists, right? It gives them relief to lie and to be allowed to lie. So my thought was talking to him is a bad idea because we already know he's a loser. We already know he's a liar. We already know he's guilty or very directly, like not even like he's guilty of doing this. It's just not like it's not plausible that somebody else did this so close to when he said that he was going to do it in the exact way he said he was going to do it. And so giving him an opportunity to go in front of people and to lie is only going to mentally relieve him. It's going to give him an outlet. It's going to give him an opportunity to explain himself. And so when I saw this, I said, you know what? I'm not a favor of talking to him because so far this wall of ignoring him and not giving him a platform and not giving him a chance to lie and to express himself and to relieve himself in that way has been working. He's crashing out constantly. It's very embarrassing for him. He's losing friends left and right. His channel's in the shitter, and I feel like it's better just to not talk to him. As a consequence, that talk did not happen. And I don't know, I say as a consequence, I actually don't know if it was a consequence of my objection or his public sentiment or if he just reconsidered or if Hambly backed out. Because I saw tweets from Hambly saying that he wasn't, that he was, that Yellow Flash had backed out and not him. So it's much funnier to say that Hambly backed out because then he has to cope and seethe about it. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that there's no way that Yellow Flash just read what I said and said, you know what, that's a good idea. Hambly is a pussy, and he honestly is too much of a bitch-made loser to ever get up on there and correct the record in real time. So he chickened out. That's what happened. He ran. And he's a pussy. I don't know if I said that, but he's a total chicken shit pussy, right? And that's what happened. And him. He never showed up? For real? He didn't show up? That's funny. That's what happened. Canonically, that's what happened, I think. He just didn't show up. That's very embarrassing for him. So he walked. He didn't run. Okay. Yeah, he was busy. He was by the side of the river collecting boulders with his 6 German shepherds and shot collars. And then yeah, so everyone says that he fled or whatever. And then he says, I don't know why I have this on my screen, but someone says, I will dig up Dennis Hambly in West Bend, Wisconsin, and turn his bones into the grandest of all cuck chairs. Which is very funny. I don't know why this mental image of someone being turned into a chair is so humorous to me, chat, but it's especially humorous when it's a cuck chair, chat. Let's see. So Savvy at Madam Savvy says, so I hear a coffee brand is violating the law. I happen to be a big health enthusiast. My passive interest in the dumpster fire now has turned to full attention. And then the quartering says, oh my God, it's over for me. A bunch of terminally online retards don't understand the difference between coffee beans and normal FDA regulations. Coffee is exempt from the disclosures they are pretending I need to make. That said, I'm going to add them just for fun. Google, kids. So he's saying that a FDA regulation that artificial flavors must be described in packaging. If you ever look at like a food package in the US, you're almost always going to see, like if it says it's banana flavored, it actually has to clarify if it's being made from banana juice or banana fruit, or if it's using flavors that taste like a banana, but it's not actually a banana. And that's what it says when it says artificial flavors. This is a legal requirement that all food products must make a disclaimer if they're using artificial flavors. So if, for instance, you were selling, I don't know, strawberry flavored coffee as a coffee company, you actually have to clarify if your strawberry is the result of a natural or artificial flavor. If you're selling raspberry, you have to clarify if it's using beaver anise or natural raspberries. And my understanding is that coffee is a food product, so it makes sense that you would have to disclose for coffee as well, not just cereal or something. So this is a really, really great example of why you should never bluntly challenge the internet to with you over and over again like Jeremy Hambley does. There's a whole lot of with you out there that most people can't even sit down and dream of. Like if you were a normal person and you sold coffee on the side, you would never sit down and think, I bet you there's some obscure FDA regulation I didn't think applied to coffee that definitely applies to coffee that could get me to recall all of my coffee and then change the packaging at my own expense and then resell it at a loss. There's no way that could ever happen. But when you invite people to come with you, you might get somebody like Savvy who may have some position in the FDA or may just be a contractor who's more familiar with FDA regulations, who might have had an issue like this with a customer if they work in law. There's a million different reasons why someone would get exposed to this kind of thought. And when you are blindly challenging the great unknown to with you, you invite people like this who happen to have some adjacent experience with ways to with people, either because it happened to them or their family or a customer, or they're involved in the agency and that's something they look for every day. Like, you don't know what kind of problems people can come up with for you until it happens. And then you're dealing with a problem you didn't have before. So that's why doing what Jeremy does and is a bad idea. Apparently this is his timeline. This was captured. This is like just the full freak out over the last hour. So the last hour, yet another channel who has endless videos epically owning me. Stop saying that. Has backed out of a one-on-one conversation. It's almost like they knew they were lying and are afraid to. This is what I read that made me think that Gillo Flash canceled. I offer two of these moral heroes a chance. They both ran. I'm done. Haha. Anytime they want me, I am ready. This has been my position for months. They hide behind. Look at how angry he is. This is why I say you shouldn't talk to him. Because look at how angry it is when he can't soothe himself by lying to people. He needs to lie to more people. When he's only getting 50 likes on a tweet, that's not enough lying. He needs to lie to thousands of people to feel better. They hide behind wanting to see my financial reports because they know they will get embarrassed. Anytime they are ready, I am here. I'm ready. This is Deal of Flash. Come on, man. You've been totally destroying me for weeks. This should be an easy slam dunk. Plus, think of all the super chats you'll get. It's free money. Why does he hide? Manic tweeting about all sorts of retarded shit. I think he gets embarrassed that he's like freaking out like this. So he decides to retweet some other shit and then he starts seething again. So he just does it again and then has to like cope tweet about something else. Then he finds some kind of video game or some shit. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Secrets of Serex Haven? Collector's Booster? I've never even heard of that. I don't know what the fuck that is. And then there's trail cameras, because I guess he needs cameras everywhere to protect him from the black F-150s rolling up to Ram Ranch to cowboy butts. It's gotcha slop? Oh, it's Magic the Gathering. Ugh. Can you think of anything less attractive in the qualities of a man? Like when you think of like what men are and what they're supposed to do, can you think of anything less attractive than wasting money on toys and gotcha pulls from phone games? That's like the gayest shit. The most indulgent hobby of all time. It has no utility. Like even a guy who's obsessed with like cars and like redoing old cars and shit, at least when you're like reupholstering a car, you're learning something. And when you restore an old car, you're learning stuff and you can use that car to drive around. When you're buying old Pokemon cards to do pulls looking for a first edition Charizard, like you're just a cow being milked. It's so embarrassing and cringe. Oh my god, I got a 14-star Umamamusa pull on my 10th gotcha got. It's like, oh my god, it's Umamamusa. It's a horse girl. It's a girl with a horse and she's got titties and her stars are very high, which means that she can gallop faster. Oh my god. He ran. That's 2-0 now against totally morally superior content creators. These people never want to engage because they know their lies will fall apart. Just another total victory. No point to engage with anyone else. They're all cowards. Can't wait for his cope cast. Snark Reddits and full-blown panic now that they can be unmasked. Actually, Sweaty, the word of doxing? Okay, send the link at Yellow Flash Guy. Lol, waited over an hour for a response. You know what? To be fair, I'll let him schedule it another day. Sorry, I thought you were done quartering. I thought you gave up on this already. Why are you begging for a link now? That way he can do it normal stream and can prepare. It's true, a lot of these people I considered friends, and I find it shocking they won't stand behind the wild claims they've made. That's okay, I gave them a chance. I've got to record more slop. Well, that's a valid excuse. That checks out. That's his Boulder stream. Like, there's no way I could have been behind the flagging. I was too busy 14 hours in a row making slop videos for my YouTube shorts. Well, he has a point. He was busy that day making YouTube slop. Again, celebrating the fact that you can dox random Redditors in a defamation lawsuit. I said 1v1 coward. Yellow Flash Guy brought on at least 2 people to back him up. I totally get he might have had tonight's stream planned. So whenever he's ready for 1v1, I'm not going to debate 5 against 1. 1v1, the fact that he needs at least 2 people to back him up is pretty pathetic. He might have had all this planned, which I'm totally fine. I'm happy to schedule the moment he's ready. So he did back out. So the Yellow Flash Guy just had somebody else on his stream, and he's like, I'm not going to talk to you with somebody else on your stream. It just has to be me. It has to be all about me so I can lie with impunity. Nobody can ever tell you that I'm lying in real time. That's what I'm saying. It's fine. We can reschedule when he's ready for 1v1. I will make time. Oh my god, it's over for me. A bunch of terminally online retards don't understand. That's the last week that I read. So he's ready for a 1v1. He's hired of this 2v2 shit. And he's replying again, hey, all coffee brand coffee customers, apparently on the new bags, people would like a disclosure specifically on flavoring. Not our actual customers, just terminally online psychos. Either way, no problem at all. We'll add it all on your future batches. Always happy to go above and beyond for you. Can you... Honestly, it would be less embarrassing just to type like, hey guys, I'm seething. I'm completely felted. I'm rectally ravaged. I'm actually super pissed and I'm barely holding my shit together. Like, that would be a less embarrassing way to write this message. The FDA is anal. I'm under attack from the Radical Food and Drug Administration. Okay, let me round this out, the Hamley segment. So he takes a moment, all right, and he goes, Dory May, Ave Ray, Dory May. Okay, you got the Georgian chant coming on. He says, I want to thank God for giving me the strength these past 2 weeks. And I want to thank Melony Mac and Charlie Kirk for inspiring me to find him again. I also want to thank all my viewers for being so amazing and kind. I am so blessed, and I don't say it enough. Dory May. How dare you? How dare you stand where St. Charlie Kirk stood and co-sign your shenanigans with Charlie Kirk? Don't bring Charlie. He's dead. Someone shot him in the neck with a big ass bullet. Okay, and you're like, "Thank you, Charlie." I'm just imagining like the specter of Charlie, like, I don't co-sign this shit. St. Floyd and St. Kirk are smiling. That's right. You should be thanking St. Kirk. Isn't he close to Minneapolis? I don't know. I don't know the Midwest. Don't tell me that. Someone translated this. This might be more accurate. This is a fictitious tweet, but I think this might be more accurate to his intentions. I want to thank Booze for giving me strength these past 2 weeks, and I want to thank YouTube support and my wife Skybull for inspiring me to find it again. I also want to thank all my viewers for being so amazing and kind. I am so blessed, and I don't say it enough. That might be more accurate there. I don't know. I'll leave that up to your interpretation. And then recently, Andy Worski has announced that quartering alert, he apparently has deleted his entire Discord. So people were reporting on stuff happening in his Discord, and I think he's either locked it down super hard or he's just outright deleted it to try and squelch the leaks. But it's not looking good for poor Hambone. He's coping. He's seething. He might possibly be dilating. We can only speculate, Joe. Is there anything even worth talking about this besides the Joon the King documentary? Let me think, because I've been paying attention to it. So Joon the King, who is probably one of the best drama slop YouTubers on YouTube, one of the very, very few kings of YouTube who are not afraid to drop the hard K slur on a video. The K slur, of course, being Kiwi Farms. Did a full 3.5 hour long documentary about perhaps the most boring person to ever make it big on YouTube, Jeremy Hambly, the quartering. This video is very timely, very fortunately for Joon the King, that such a thing happened right as he was finishing production. But he had gotten the entire thing ready to go, and then the Kino Casino stuff had happened, and he had to take time to redo the entire finale of the video and extend it probably by another hour to incorporate recent events. And it's a very good documentary. There's a lot of stuff in there that I wasn't aware of, a lot of stuff that we've only recently become aware of, that I never would have known about if not for the Kino Casino. And then it wraps up the whole Kino Casino debacle. But basically, quartering is a gigantic piece of shit, and if he's not binge drinking yet, he probably is now. Because this video is pretty devastating, and it's going to epically own his SEO forever. It covers pretty much everything. It blurs out name so that it can't be taken down. And I imagine that Joon the King, I think he's got a pretty big subscriber base, 415. Probably can talk to his reps if he has problems, as opposed to just being censored outright. But pretty good stuff. Pretty bad timing for the quartering. This video dropped, I think coincidentally. Jeremy Hambly took a week-long break, and I think his gambit was that if he just ignored everything, took a moment, and disappeared, that the tide of antagonism directed towards him would wash over, and by the time he reemerged, kind of like a tidal wave. If you're swimming in the ocean and a tidal wave passes by, you actually won't feel it at all. I think you get a little bit jostled, but it's nowhere like standing on the beach and getting hit by the tidal wave. He thought it would be like that. You could just dive under, enjoy the ocean for a moment. The tidal wave of PPPism would pass by, and nobody would notice, okay? That did not happen. And when he returned, he got hit with the Joon the King documentary to keep things a little bit lively. As far as recent developments go, I can't think that there's anything too interesting happening. I think people are still getting their channels canceled. Somebody sent me a message saying that, sorry, I actually have some bookmarks for this I can pull up real quick. Oh yeah, I forgot to queue these up for some reason. There we go. Get these ready. I think someone did the math and found out that from his YouTube shorts, he's probably making 22. Actually, I do have that queued up. Let's watch what this video is. No, that's Elijah Schaefer. That's not who I'm talking about. Let's see this. Melony Mac appeared on a Chrissy Meyer clip. If you don't know who Chrissy Meyer is, I think the only time I've ever heard of her before is when she was trying to parasite views off some crackhead child. And she lost all her simps after she got preggo, based off what I saw. So two women who base their career off of simps, but have now aged out of that demographic, are attempting to commiserate, while the audience has a different thing in mind. Let's just take a Supposedly, the hot take from Joon the King was that the oranges in that video have acidity, natural acidity, which can be used to break down the connective tissues of meat and create a more tender food. I've heard of them doing that with pineapple, because pineapple not only has acidity, it has a specific enzyme which actually does digest meat, which is why when you eat a bunch of pineapple, your mouth burns a little bit. It's because you're getting reverse digested by the pineapple fluids. I don't know if that's a meme, but that's what I was told. So that's what the oranges are for. Thanks to Joon the King, we have officially figured out what they're for. And that stream's not going well. I think the opinion is Melony, not Melony Mac, the other one, Hannah Claire has made a return to the quartering show. So I think the consensus is among the alawged council that Hannah Claire is indeed a sellout and a Melony Mac paid for, bought and sold woman for the quarter cast, and she is now being alawged herself. That's the last report. It's sort of like a telegram that I get from the fronts from the more. So the alawged council has decided open season on Hannah Claire. Very unfortunate. We're all wishing for a different outcome here, but it is what it is. Mac and Cheese, I think he's taking it easy. Now that there's an army of alawgeds, he can retire for a bit, enjoy the outside as they do the work for him. But he has taken a little detour from his vacation to count the views that quartering is getting from his shorts. So in total, from his 73 videos, he posted 73 videos in April. 73 regular videos in April. That's got to be wrong. I refuse to believe that's correct. 2 hours ago, 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 64, 65. And this is over a month ago. That's 65 videos, not including lives, I guess. No, he doesn't go live on this channel. That's insane. He's posting 2-3 videos a day. And then he also churns out 2 to 3 shorts a day. He's that desperate for money. Sad puppy comforted by big Saint Bernard. Hashtag dogs. Hashtag animals. Hashtag viral. Hashtag pets.
Aren't enough Good Samaritans out there, but this one's the best. Check it out. Aren't enough Good Samaritans.
I love how in every single one of these, there's the first second of him. Wait, why does it only show this one? I want to see the Saint Bernard. Why does it show me this one? Do I have to like slide to it?
We have a teacher problem. We have a serious problem with our teacher. This waitress reveals the truth. Well, says I wish humans were more like dogs, and this clip is another reason why. Check this out.
And then it's just like, dude, he goes out of his... I guarantee you, the only editing he does on these videos is him cropping out the attributions of the original channel, because you only see the quartering.
Body cams have absolutely well, says I wish...
I love how, by the way, every single time he records one of these, you can see that he's looking down at OBS. Like, he's so desperate to crank this shit out, he can't even, like, take a second to look at the camera so that when the clip starts, he's looking at the camera. He's always looking down at the OBS start record button.
This debate perfectly exemplifies the modern youth. Check this out.
I love it's so low energy. He can never do a second take. He can't take 1 second to straighten his gaze before he starts talking, and he can never do a second take if he up his lines.
This debate perfectly exemplifies the modern youth. After this radical leftist went after a journalist, now this generation's so lazy. I can't believe this woman pulled.
You're so lazy. This generation is so lazy. Homie, you're the one stealing TikTok videos and scrubbing attribution to get $1,000 in views.
I don't know why these people put this stuff online. It's just dining out has never been worse, and this.
That's why you always DoorDash it, huh? You have to dine out.
Like, what is this person even saying?
I know, right? You should take a second to do a second take for his videos.
She's not too bright. I don't know why she admitted this all in front of the cop. What do you? thing.
Saying that about Melony Mac.
I have 3 German Shepherds.
Oh, dude,
She's
that's
not too bright.
that's prime clickbait. There is like an entire genre of like screaming, crying woman being arrested, and it's always titled like Karen gets what she deserves, and it's like a combo subtitle of like her in skimpy clothes, drunk, and then like her pressed against the hood of the car. There is definitely a generation of boomers that have like a wife DNS blocker on their modem and are just to pictures of drunk tourists getting arrested in Florida. I guarantee you that's what's happening. They want us dead.
The left is openly. Is modern parenting really like this? It seems like it might be. Check this. The left is openly saying what they want. The American political climate has changed, and see the leftist ideology.
Dude, he's wearing like the same clothes in all these because he's just like bashing this shit out.
I didn't know, Mr.
That's awful. That is so embarrassing. I love it. I love seeing like how much he has to like hustle and slave away for the YouTube system. How he has to sit there editing off attributions like a chop shop grinding off serial numbers on car parts to resell them. He's like sitting there slaving over Adobe Premiere trying to AI out the TikTok credits and shit so he can republish that. It's so awesome. He has to sit there looking for clips to steal, and he's just spending all his time doing this instead of playing his gay ass RC cars on the back. That's great. That's all I have to say about him. All right. So this is the segment, of course, everyone's looking for. The week late coverage of something that PPP and Andy Worski have covered for literally 24 fucking hours at this point. Here is your coverage of Jeremy Hambly. Where do we start? I have this kind of chronologically panned out. Okay. This has been a bad week for Hambly, and whenever these things happen, and it's an occasional event. It's like a Ricada, it's like an Ethan Ralph collapse, where it's like when you have these internet personalities and they're on the ropes and they're declining, it's always a mystery to me as the observer of how it could possibly get any worse. Like I think of this as like an elevator. Elevators have safety features. If an elevator breaks its suspension, it has emergency brakes that stop it from plummeting to the earth and killing everybody inside of it. And surely, once the suspension breaks and you're plummeting towards the earth at terminal velocity, the brakes must kick in and you just stop doing shit. You just stop making things worse for yourself. Because really, an internet mob has limited capacity to negatively impact your life as long as you just shut the fuck up and stop making things worse for yourself. Which is why when people like Ralph and Nick Ricada and now Hambly pull out the stops to continually make their own life harder, more difficult, more cumbersome, and continue to feed into drama in a way that is both unnecessary and avoidable, but also something that would probably peter out if you weren't doing this constantly. It just makes me wonder, like, what the is wrong with you? So Hambly realized that there's a user on the site. Let me find his name real quick because I want to give him a big shout out. He's one of those kinds of people who deserve attention. His name is I'm Just Saying. And this guy has built the Jeralizer, which is a comprehensive archive of YouTube transcripts of every video, and not just YouTube, but Odyssey and Rumble as well. Transcripts from every site he could possibly get of every stream Jeremy Hambly has ever done, including with other hosts, and he's made a giant searchable keyword repository for these transcripts. And Jeremy Hambly realized that people were going deep into his internet history, especially after that very uncomfortable clip of him harassing women at the Renaissance Fair came out. And indeed, the Renaissance Fair Corporation that runs not only that Renaissance Fair, but every Renaissance Fair in that state, I think, and Renaissance Fairs outside of the state, and has banned him from it. Now, I did not know this at the time that I played that clip and commented on how creepy it was. But Jeremy Hambley loves that Renaissance fair. And he actually goes there every time they run it, multiple times a year. And he goes there with his wife. So this is one of the few things that I can confirm based off his own story that he and his wife actually go outside and do together, which in a relationship is a big deal. So he's ruined that. And now he has to tell his wife that they can't go to the Renaissance Fair anymore because years ago he streamed and published to the internet a video of him harassing unaware women at the Renaissance Fair. And that's a really hard thing to have to tell your own wife. So that's tough. And that is probably what prompted him to go out and to do something that is honestly unthinkable. I did not know this even. I did not know. I'm both aware of Count Dankula, the Scottish man with the Nazi pug, of course, and I'm aware of Jeremy Hambley. I was not aware that at one point in time, and apparently this is even a meme with their community, is that nobody knows about this podcast. There was a podcast that they did called Tism, which was something like the Internet Salt Mine or something. And it was a guy called Bering, who I don't know, Count Dankula, and The Quartering doing a podcast together. And it was a very small, tight-knit thing that the other co-hosts, because of where they lived, would wake up early hours to film in or to stream in American time zones. And they did this for years. They did this podcast for years. And they all had admin access to the back end. So in real time, people could watch Jeremy Hambley delete the multi-year history. I think it's 7 years, if I remember correctly. It was like 7 years of podcasts that these guys did together. He went through and purged them all from history. He deleted them all. And he lied about it. The messages for these videos and the channel eventually said that this video or this channel has been deleted, which is a message that you obviously only get when you delete your own channel. When a channel is suspended or when a video is taken down because of a rules violation, it explicitly says that the video was taken down for a rules violation or the channel was subscribed for multiple repeated infringements. It does not make it ambiguous if the channel was deleted or not, or if the video was deleted or not. So he went through and he deleted all the videos. Initially, his attempt was to come out and tell the internet that the Kino Casino, Kiwi Farms, hate mob went after him and mass flagged his channels to get retaliation on them. And it was immediately obvious to everybody that this was a completely false premise because the messages explicitly say that they were deleted and that they were not suspended. After realizing and after being called out by his co-host for doing this, he then changed his story and said that he had instructed a mysterious third person, an editor, to go through his history and delete all of his live streams. And he claims that this led to a misunderstanding where his editor deleted the TISM archives as well, mistakenly. But this also was called out by Bering and Dankula, because, and Bering in particular, because he had access to the channel and nobody else did. There was no editor attached to the channel who would have had the capacity to delete these videos. Then after getting pressure from Bering and Dankula in private and in public, calling him a liar to his face, he finally came out and he said the honest truth, which was that he freaked the out, had a TISM fit, and deleted a 7-year-old or 7 years worth of archives that he and his friends put together, basically for love of the game. It was never a very successful podcast. It was just something that they enjoyed doing. And it is so incredible to me. It's honestly one of the most incredible ups that I've ever seen. One of the biggest unforced errors ever. Because, number one, it's not his to delete. He owned it jointly with 2 other people. And he destroyed their property in a way by doing this. Because, number 2, it deleted all the comments attached to this video, or to all the videos. And that's actually, I think it's one of my tabs. I haven't been reading my tabs. I've just been going off the cuff with this. Yeah, this. Okay, so Oranges, very nice name, says, Lamau, no way. I've actually been taking the time to collect all negative comments about Jeremy on the TISM streams, and I was making a video compilation of all of them because I found them entertaining. Comments that absolutely roast the quarter pounder are what deserve to endure as his legacy. I meant to add on page 2000 to commemorate it, but the thread started flying before I was finished. Happy 2K Jer. So this guy went through and was trying to archive. This post is very long. By the way, I like the artwork for this poster. It's very very colorful. It reminds me of like the Wind Waker with all its colors and shit. That's a very, very flattering Rule 63 or whatever of Jeremy Hambly. Anyways, the comments are gone, and that's a cover. That's a fan art from the podcast by the actual fans of the podcast who left comments on the podcast. By the way, which are now all gone forever. The live chats and the comments of 7 years worth of content are irreversibly destroyed because of a unilateral action taken by Jeremy Hambly for no reason other than the fact that he was a drunk retard shitting himself in fear about what next thing the Kiwi Farms or Kino Casino fans would find off about him through these clips. And I think that this is such a massive unforced error because it shows his level of dependability and respect for people who choose to work with him. He's in dire straits. He needs as many allies as he can possibly get. And what he has demonstrated is that when the going gets tough, he's completely willing to over his own friends and destroy their property and things that they're proud of and things that they made with their community if it in some way benefits him, or rather, more accurately, if there is any misconception to him even that there is some tangential benefit. There doesn't even have to be a real benefit, but if drunk Jeremy Hambly thinks it might benefit him in some way, that's good enough. He doesn't even have to think about it that much. He's not even over somebody to gain something. He's over multiple people on the surreptitious charge that it might help him in some way. So I consider this not just unforgivable. I consider this to be the most damaging thing he's done since flagging down the Kino Casino channel itself, and it probably will have as much an enduring impact because now who the would ever work with this guy? Who in their right mind would ever work with Jeremy Hambly after this moment? Nobody who has any pride in their work or values their creations, obviously. So he's limited his field enormously. So that's that. Okay, so the guy updated the Jeralizer to include filtering, which you can find. I think it's at Jeralizer. I don't have the link. What is the link for this? I think it's jeralizer.pages.dev. Jeralizer pages.dev. It is. Jeralizer.pages.dev. Now you can sort by all sorts of things. And I have a funny thing to add to this, right? So I feel like now is the appropriate time to mention, and I haven't talked about this much because I don't want to put the horse before the cart. I received a extremely generous donation from a user who had but one stipulation to me. He was willing to give me thousands of dollars, literally 5 figures, specifically $10,000, which is the minimum for 5 figures. I don't want you to think I got like $99,000. He gave me $10,000, and he said, "Josh, there's one rule for this money. You cannot spend it on yourself in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. You can't go to taxes. You can't go to rent. You can't feed yourself with it. You have to reinvest this money into the Kiwi Farms in some way." So I bought a $9,000 AI video card. It's a NVIDIA RTX 6000 Blackwell Pro, which is a 96 gigabyte VRAM state-of-the-art NVIDIA card. Which means that I can do some really fun stuff with AI now. Yeah, I bought an AI girlfriend, basically. So I have put this, as I promised, to good use. Literally, that card alone is $9,000, and I had to buy a new PSU to accommodate it because it's 600 watts. So that's where it went. I promise. Every penny went to this card and to facilitate it. So the first thing I decided to do with it now that I've gotten captioning done, is that I want to improve the search. One of the main things I get complaints about on the forum all the time is the search engine. The search engine sucks. And you can blame that on Elasticsearch, which is the Java-based search engine that Zenforo leans on for searching keywords. It's not very good. I've never liked it. In the modern era, there are alternatives to Elasticsearch and crates and Rust that you can lean on, like mali.search. And there's something else. The world of search has evolved past keyword searching. You don't just type words into Google and then find those exact words. There is fuzzy searching where you type a word and it matches those concepts. So even if you're a little bit off, it'll still find them. So I've decided that I will implement this AI assisted search tool into a search project, which I can use on the Kiwi farms with Zenforo, but is actually part of a progression to the complete forum rewrite. So in the same way that the chat is a module that's written in Rust, the same way that the media processor is now written in Rust, this search engine is going to be written in Rust, and they will all start forming a patchwork that allows me to tackle the actual forum CMS last, while getting benefits from it today. And I needed Millisearch. Okay, sorry, Millisearch. So I needed some way to test this. If only there was a enormous corpus of text that I could benefit from being able to search with vague concepts and find. So what I did is I used a $9,000 AI card to decode and prioritize everything Jeremy Hambley has ever said into the new search engine. And I will give you an example that I used in my post to demonstrate the capacity of this vectorized Millisearch combo keyword / AI assisted search chat. So let's see here. I type in the words. This, by the way, there's 23,000 transcripts, and the way that it works is it breaks them down into chunks because otherwise the search results get too vague. So it broke the 23,000 transcripts into 153,000 chunks, which it then vectorizes and orders. Using it's a complex system, but there's 2,048 dimensional arrays that they use to compare terms. The computer has a concept of a word, and they land near other words mathematically. Example, in case you're confused, I searched in the new search engine, I shit my pants in a Walmart. And sure enough, the keyword searching, using only Millisearch keywords, finds the Vox Apocalypse transcript and the specific time for it, where Jeremy Hambley describes the time that he went to Walmart and shit his pants. If you've not heard the story, it's very funny, by the way. He basically says that he has no control over his bowels, decided he was going to shit himself in Walmart, or that he had no choice but to shit himself, and then did a poop walk to the bathroom and just abandoned his pants at some point, his underwear, in the Walmart. And he even saw somebody in the Walmart and said, "I'm shitting myself," as he walked to the door. Imagine this. Imagine you're at the urinal, right? This is true. This is based off his story. This is exactly what happened. You're at the urinal. You're peeing. The fattest man ever barges through, and shit is dripping down his cargo shorts. And he says, "I'm shitting myself." Imagine how quickly you have to pinch off that stream, how much it's going to hurt to have to pinch it off that fast, and how you have to step over shit to get out of that bathroom at Walmart. Truly a nightmare. Anyways, that's the story. The transcript is able to find it, but of course I could find it. I knew exactly what to search for. What if you were a little bit old-timey and you decided to search instead for poop in my trousers at a supermarket? And lo and behold, with the same level of confidence, the AI-enhanced search is able to find the exact same video at the exact same timestamp. Because in the vector logic of the AI, trousers, pants, supermarket, Walmart, poopin', shittin', very close to each other, and is able to detect those terms and give you the result. So, with that in mind, I then just asked the agent, come up with some vague, embarrassing concepts and run it through the search. It takes only 10 milliseconds to search 156,000 chunks in this way because of how vector math is very efficient. And Just slam it with anything you can think of and sort through it for me. And what's very funny is that this AI bot had absolutely no concept of who Jeremy Hambly is, had no idea really what to look for, and just went through vague terms. And I'm going to read you the 25 best hits that the computer program decided Jerry has talked about to incriminate himself on his stream. First, so just keep in mind, the robot is a feminist. So it takes the side of women early on, but it progresses to the typical bangers that we're all familiar with. He says that workers are framed as predators and then mock them over losing incomes, saying, if you just bear it all for strangers on the internet, I bet you're working real hard. I can't laugh and have fun at their failures in regards to them. Performers reduced to put your holes on the internet. You could just like not put your holes on the internet, he says. Twitch women called garden tools and ladies of the night. The hypocrisy of garden tools, the ladies of the night on Twitch. The Twitch streaming is simply to gain more customers for their claims that women use Twitch. This is actually I agree with. Use Twitch for 13-year-olds to sell explicit photos. This is actually a base take and will be the only base take on this entire list because I completely agree that Twitch is a mechanism for selling children. Female guest introduced as literal boobs and not low enough. And then this is actually a very famous clip of him harassing multiple women at once while drunk, saying, we have all literal boobs joining us. Let's bring on the boobs and not low enough. Conservative milkers segment treats framing as monetization strategy. From conservative milkers full simps into getting grifted again, both sides are out of pocket. Explicit moralizing about body count and race, selling their butthole pictures for $5. I know who she's banging. Getting railed by black dudes, guaranteed. Some percentage of my viewers are going to have to give this whore money. So, summary, this segment criticizes an creator while acknowledging that covering her may drive his own viewers to pay her. Some percentage of my viewers are going to go and give this whore money. A lot of articles are undisclosed ads. Self-aware about coverage to attention pipeline while using degrading language. So he knows that he's helping a prostitute out, but he needs clicks anyway, so he's doing it. And then he's just talking about Amaranth using AI to dupe simps and whatever. The fart count and adult man-child self-description. He says, welcome to the fart count. As a fully grown man-child, farts have always been funny for me. Poopgate discussion gets extended and graphic. He stopped talking so he could bear down. Yeah, that fart was absolutely. That's a code brown. So he's discussing Poopgate with Melony Mac. Diet discussion includes hot diarrhea and gout. I got past the hot diarrhea phase. Made me have a gout flare. I tried carnivore. It wasn't right for me. Salad causes hot explosive diarrhea. I don't want to sit in my own poop. There will be a lettuce poop within 30 minutes. It's hot explosive diarrhea. Stink palming antidote and diarrhea butt juice. Their hand would smell like diarrhea juice. It was the first fight I ever got in. I wiped my diarrhea butt juice on a Tesla. Pet vomit story. She would puke everywhere. And then the dog eats the cat puke when he comes back to look at it. So he doesn't clean it up. He lets the cat vomit, and then the cat eats it because he took so long to clean it up. This is funny. Dogcoin speculation bought almost 100,000 shares. I bought just under 100,000 shares. I watched it triple in value. I extracted some profits. I wonder now if a lot of that money that he's lost is him doing crypto gambling. It really leads me to speculate on maybe he doesn't just spend all his money. He's also gambling it away on cryptocurrency. Neo Geo spending plus explicit sponsor conversion plus. During a sponsored stream, he mentioned spending a lot on Neo Geo games and pushes viewers to use his link to meet a sponsor goal. I spent a lot of money buying it. You're going to have to use my link. Once we get to 100, I feel like I will have accomplished my job. This is awesome. It had no idea who Hambly is, had no idea about his controversy, but it still picked this one. 18, coffee grift boxes. I will not have to shill it all week. Summary, he asked the live audience to buy coffee gift boxes so he can stop promoting them, and then admits a logistical mistake with Amazon. I will not have to shill it all week. We could completely sell out. I f***ed up. I apologize. Why it matters. Very direct monetization / self-own clip. Failed website generating zero money and did not want to ask again. This is in regards to exclusivelygames.com. So the site was generating zero money and he paid people a severance. Failed website follow-up. I was wrong and a good chunk of money. Stronger admission than earlier about the funding process explanation. BuzzFeed RageBait segment includes business sales brag. A website that was making 50,000. This is him talking about when he was a kid, allegedly, or a young adult, 24-year-old, selling some grifting website for $50,000, which is very dubious and has been speculated as a lie. In this story, I remember a childhood lie about getting an N64. He tells an embarrassing childhood story about lying to friends after receiving a Super Nintendo instead of a 64. And I remember this story because PPP made fun of him and was talking about how he was like a spoiled child who threw a fit over an N64 during Christmas because he didn't get the right game console he wanted. Let's see. Then he talks about Blizzard lawsuit. We did allow drinking. So he goes on this huge tirade, and this was found, that during Activision Blizzard allegations, he said that at one of his prior workplaces, there was just constant nonstop harassment. And he's just like, yeah, that's just normal. Don't worry about it. And saying that at his workplace, people would get drunk and just start f***ing each other constantly during company outings. And then this video says they want Sonic to like young boys now. This is sadly not clickbait. And then he says, I knew for sure this was just bait. Take a look at the bait and make fun of it. So he's deliberately saying this is not clickbait. And then he's saying this is clickbait, but I need the clicks myself. So he's going to do it. He explains that he has to buy upgraded airline seats because he's too fat to fit into normal seats. And then, and that's it. It rounds out with a summary of what it did. So just as an example, I can take this and I can just slam it with AI and it can find literally every single best hit I can think of off the top of my head of Hambly self-owning. I think the only thing I didn't find was the piss stream, which I don't know if that's inside the Generalizer or not. But my plan is that at some point I'll be able to extensively archive things on the forum and have their transcripts who fed into this, and it will appear alongside of content. So if you search for like a quote, you might be able to find the actual video in the exact place it takes place on the forum. So that's where I'm leading up to. I'm using Hambly as a proof of concept for this. Expensive Taiwanese engineers did extra shifts so Josh could get a GPU to felt Jeremy. That's so true, King. You have no idea. And the next, okay, so this is a summary by Gatorades, who is doing a lot of legwork in this thread to keep the content flowing. Okay, so but we're only looking at Friday and Saturday because these are the things that happened after my stream. Let's see. Nina Infinity releases a statement attempting to give Chrissy an opportunity to save herself. She will later come to regret this and declare Chrissy can go f*** herself. That is... So the Chrissy Meyer stuff is like a sidecar that's also exploding. Chrissy basically lied to Brittany Venti, and I'm not going to play through the whole thing because PvP went over it and it's kind of dry. But the gist is that there's a woman out there called Chrissy Meyer who is basically a boring, non-tint creator that sometimes shows up on a much, much bigger podcast called Friday Night Tights, if I remember correctly. And nobody likes her. And she's been trying to monkey branch to something that actually makes her more money. So she's been trying to replace or get on Hambly's show because she knows that Hambly pays Melony Mac and Hannah Claire like actual salaries, and she wants in on that. So she's now doing these crazy gymnastics to try and suck up to Jeremy because she wants that money, and is lying to all of her friends in the process and isolating herself to accomplish this.
Worse. Like he doesn't need to, but he just makes it worse. And he comes in with this like fighting attitude, like, bro, it's not that deep for me. I'm just having a good time, brother. You calm down. And I'm not letting you come on my show and start yelling racial slurs so I get my channel banned. Okay, sorry, we're not doing that. But he wanted to come on my show and like fight me. I'm like, bro,
that is a reference to the time that this is years old, but the time to when Hambly threatened to get Medicare's stream yanked by super chatting slurs, which happened during the heel stream that got Ralph banned.
This is a serious show, Jeremy. Come on. He said, "Hello, Mama today." That's awesome. That's awesome. PDH is like trembling. She's like, "It's time." I'm like, no. No. But anyways, Chrissy, yeah, to give you a little bit of an idea, it's looking pretty conclusive. Now it's not 100%, but it's looking pretty conclusive that Jeremy flagged some channels. The channels were removed. He then says he's going to take a break, and then he doesn't, and then he gets mad, and then he gets drunk, and then he tweets about it, and he makes things worse, and then more things come out, and then it kind of just rinses and repeats, and it's been doing that for weeks. So that's what's going on. But Mudahar made a video about it today, so that's how you know it's going wild. I'm sorry, Chrissy. Give me.
This clip is important because the lies that Chrissy told people was that she was unawares of what was happening with Hambly, and she was not. She had been told explicitly by Nina and explicitly by Camelot of what was happening. And she knew, and she basically confessed that she knew, but was still pretending not to understand things so that nobody would press her. This led to, and I'll only play a minute of this because it's very extensive, 3 minutes of this. This is Friday Night Tights. And my understanding, and I only know this secondhand from PPP, but apparently this show is just about doing the right-wing anti-pop culture grift. And they're all here like an oil rig. And every time Marvel or Disney puts out another stinker, they all get on this podcast and they talk about it and they make fun of it and they say it's a gigantic piece of shit and everyone laughs and has a good time and makes a bunch of money. And that's basically the show, right? And they do not want, under any circumstance, drama or infighting. So if drama or infighting happens, Nerdrotic, who is the top dog of this bunch, is very upset about this. So I believe both Chrissy Meyer and The Quartering have been contributors that have appeared on this podcast. And the drama situation with Hambly has gotten so bad that it has actually forced Nerdrotic to respond to it. And my understanding is that this 20-minute long clip, I've listened to all of it, where they just take turns talking about how Hambly is the biggest retard on the planet and how Chrissy Meyer is not currently welcome on the show because she's involved in drama and they point blank do not want drama on the show. She's going to have to sort herself out before they welcome her back. And I'll play the 3-minute clip of them just discussing this real quick.
I guess we have to address the elephant in the room, the oranges.
And just to be clear, this show is so popular that like your mom might know about it. Okay, this is like entry-level consumer outrage type shit that is so inoffensive and accessible that anybody who's just kind of like, wow, Disney and Marvel movies sure do suck these days, might be watching this shit.
The 400-pound, 2 million subscriber elephant in the room? Is that the elephant?
That would be ultimately the cause of all this, wouldn't it?
So, the false flagger, allegedly. So, allegedly, I mean, he only just admitted it publicly and privately that he was going to do it. But apparently, the internet's just making shit up. So
I thought it was just a massive coincidence that all the people criticizing him got
flagged.
Just
a coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
Sure, there's 0.001% of plausible deniability, I guess.
Yeah.
There's an email that nobody's seen yet that apparently has disappeared because you know what I did yesterday, guys? I researched all of this. I made sure I was prepared for this statement to make sure I watched Kino Casino.
You did research before
I did research before I decided to talk about something and find out what the hell's going on. And
trying to beat Ryan Kennel or something, getting all prepared and doing
just
research.
Just once. So Chrissy's not on the show today. I had a talk with Chrissy yesterday. about the situation she inserted herself in, whether it was due to ignorance of the situation or not. That's something she's going to have to address on her channel. It is not anything I feel I need to answer for or will answer for. I will say unequivocally, if I could pronounce the word, that I am against false flagging in all of its forms. I'm against even slightly hinting at false flagging that can cause more false flagging. I'm against stealing content. These are things I don't like. They are antithetical to everything we do. Authenticity and integrity is all we have. And when that is in when that is in question, that's a big problem. That's a big problem.
Yep.
So again, I spoke to Chrissy yesterday, told her the situation, and she has decided to address it on Sunday on her channel. And I think that's a wise move, because it's not something that's going to get addressed here, because it would just be a Chrissy roast fest for 4 hours, and it might not be that way anyway.
Well, I think it's a wise move to address it. I think it's a terrible move to wait 3 or 4 days. When
I
you could
agree.
have went on with Camelot, because Camelot, I guess, is going to have her on and try to break everything down. And she, whatever. She, I don't know her business. Like, maybe she couldn't make it or whatever. But, this is a situation that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. And on the internet, 24, 48 hours is a eternity. And not addressing it ASAP it's just going to make it even worse.
So they all took turns for 20 minutes straight, basically dunking on Chrissy Meyer for failing to address certain things. And they were hoping that an interview with Melony Mack on Sunday would clear the air. However, and by the way, the language that Nerdrotic used to condemn her is basically like the language a judge would use, where he's saying you've completely and totally f***ed up beyond all comprehension, like in the nicest way possible. So then I think it's Nick Norio. So then Saturday comes. The Renaissance Fair ban happened. I already mentioned this. They're digging up shit on Chrissy Meyer now. I have not seen this, so I will play this now because I don't know what the fuck this is. So this is CMP 141 MILF Fest, where apparently Chrissy says something that is unbetowards.
Okay, let me think. For me, I would be a single mom, and I'd be like, oh, this is my first Christmas. We just had a brutal divorce. I have like one child. Maybe she's like 8 or 9, but I'm like still trying to get it together. I'm like, look, Nancy, like we're gonna make this Christmas happen. Again, maybe it is Hallmark vibes, but she's like a little bit more desperate, like sweaty, like a little bit more in denial about her circumstances and her finances, but she's like, let's go. So she gets in the car, she throws Nancy in the back, she drives upstate to a tree farm. She's like, I'm gonna cut this damn tree down myself, and she obviously can't. She's having a hard time. She's cutting it down. She's huffing and puffing. She's trying to push it down, and then like sweaty, just the mascara's falling down because it's snowing too, and she didn't wear waterproof mascara, so it's like and maybe a little bit mixed in like real tears because it's hitting her. This is the first Christmas without Henry, but she's sawing it down, and then she hears like, excuse me, ma'am, and she's like, what? It's like this 16-year-old, like, it's his part-time job to work at the tree farm, and he's like, looks like you need help. And he helps. He gets on the other end of the saw, and they're both like hacking away at it, and she's like looking at him. She's like, I don't think he's old enough, And Nancy's she's getting some hot chocolate.
Dude, look at the, I don't know who either of these women's faces are, but they were both like smiling along, live, laugh, love, until she dropped like 16 and then followed it up with, I don't know if he's old enough. And now the live, laugh, love is fading. Okay, that shit's going away.
She's feet away, and then it crashes down, and then they both put their hands on the trunk, and then I'm just like, I haven't been with a man in so long, And then he's like, he puts a price tag on it, and it's like a good $30 less than it should be. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. And then he sort of wipes away like my crack whore mascara face, and he's like, meet me inside to pay for it. I'm like, okay. And then we go, and then he's like, "Buy inside. I'm in the men's room in 10 minutes to pay for your tree." And then I go to them. I go, "Nancy, get another cup of hot chocolate." And then I go to the men's room, and this kid is like, yeah, he's probably like maybe. All right, let's make him of it. Let's make him
She
18.
keeps hitting on how he's so underage.
He's 18.
Oh, she aged him up. She aged him up. The femoid psychonetic connections were made, and she got the live, laugh, love response vector and upped his age to 18. Nice. Okay, so she went on some long ass tangent about how she wants to f a 16-year-old tree farmer. I got you. Fantastic.
My
Okay, PPP made a much bigger deal of this than I will, but this is the clip of Nina Affinity explaining in excruciating detail, step by step, what the is happening with Jeremy Hambly. That in the Sunday interview, the next day, she would feign complete and total ignorance on, as if she wasn't just given a primer by Nina Infinity. So the important thing to understand from this clip, 14 minutes worth of this is what's happening with Jeremy Hambly, which you already know, so I'm going to spare you it. But the takeaway is that Chrissy Meyer sat there and absorbed for 14 minutes, this is what's happening with Jeremy Hambly, which when the Nerdrotic interview that he was talking about, you know, Sunday, happened, well, this is Saturday. Where is the Sunday? This is still Saturday. Okay, so Sunday is still coming up. Okay. Then they went on. This is actually important. So in the response to this clip of them talking about how Chrissy Meyer is not welcome on the show until she unfucks her life, the Quartering gets on Zitter and says, so a show full of anti-woke culture warriors banned one of their co-hosts for daring to interview someone they didn't like, literally using language like she has to educate herself. They fought SJ. Well, I mean, they're literally saying that she has to educate herself on the shit she's talking about, as opposed to like the plights of the indigenous people. It's a very different context. Anyways, he says they fought SJW so long they became them, and the sad thing is people will support this. Melony Mac says, I can't believe this is even happening. The last place I would have thought to see that kind of behavior. Flash says, eat shit, you performative Christian. She says, you've been a schizo tirade lately. I hope you're okay. She's praying for you. # praying for you. And then I think Chrissy Meyer at some point co-signed this retard shit. Okay, more retard shit. Quartering says, every live stream I have ever done has now disappeared. Oh, this is the flagging. The shit about the TISM podcast. Every live stream I've ever done has now disappeared from YouTube, and my podcast channel with 2 friends seems to have been banned. Oh no, my 2 friends. How could the Kino Casino Farms do this to us? I'm sure it's totally not false flaggers and just a coincidence, but please take a moment to create a Rumble account and follow the Quartering there. Please, guys, join Rumble. I won't delete my videos on that platform. Maybe it's a glitch and they will reappear, but based on everything going on, I'm not confident. Ooh, what is this? Bearing, who is the co-host, says, hey, Quartering, when are you going to acknowledge TISM? Oh, this is before he said this. When are you going to acknowledge TISM? He says, what does this even mean? We're going to do a new episode? I'm ready. Obviously. Okay. And then Bearing published the DMs. He says, I don't like releasing DMs, but while you take down 7 years of my content without warning, it was 7 years, I was right. While claiming you're a good boy and would never censor anyone, you can get Quartering throughout this whole shit show, which you've started. I've tried to be fair. I imagine, says you can get. So Quartering was upset that Bearing had created a video trying to do his interpretation of the big drama that everyone's talking about, which involves him. So Quartering comes at him and says, I hope the 60,000 views was worth it. And he asks, do you think I was not fair? And he says, I didn't watch it. The fact that it was even made is wild. 10-year-old friendship gone for 60,000 views, LOL. I would love to signal boost your wife's channel getting demonetized. I really hope. By the way, he is drunk as shit writing this. He's not putting spaces between anything. He's just toast. Getting demonetized. I really hope she gets it back. But I can't because I'm in the wrong voice now. And then he says, yeah, I think I should watch it, mate. And he says, pass. So he's complaining about a video he didn't even watch. It could have said, I love Jeremy Hambley. He's great. I love flagging videos. Like, you know what I mean? It could have been a total glaze fest. And he would have no idea because he didn't watch it. He says, the same reason I didn't make videos on Dankulo's divorce and all the wild accusations against him, even defending him would have been bringing more attention to light to garbage in his life. You 100% have a right to make the video. It's cool, but you were basically the last person I expected to try and profit off of this. Now I get to embrace the villain character, which is much easier. And then I imagine at some point he went and did his best Joker laugh. I wish you the best, man. Seriously, not ironically. Now I'm just going to do all the shit people accuse me of because it literally doesn't matter, LOL. My viewers don't give a about 20-year-old internet culture. Baring replies and says, if I wanted to profit off it, I would have made a bunch of videos from the minute this kicked off. I waited until I spoke to both sides and I released a very measured statement because I was being dragged into this. You weren't being dragged into Dank's divorce. I didn't bring any personal stuff into my video. In fact, I stated I was staying away from the rumors about peripheral drama, and you should watch the video before you get all pissy about it, man. He then asked, are you saying you're going to flag channels? He says, yeah, I'm everyone. I'm calling my rep. Everyone's getting banned. You need to calm down and stop drinking, mate. Go watch my video. No, everyone's cooked. Remember, I can ban anyone I want. It's on. Listen, you sound like an irrational woman. You're coming at me for a video you didn't even watch. If you did, you realize I want the best for you. You called me an alcoholic, which is insane. Varing then published this statement saying, Jeremy Hambley just deleted all the content from the Tism podcast channel he co-hosted with Count Dankula and myself. Not privated, not unlisted, deleted, without so much as a heads up to his co-host. Tism was never a huge podcast, but it had a loyal audience that stuck with us for 7 years. For a period of time, we went live from midnight to 2 or 3 a.m., my time to cater for a mostly U.S. audience. It was a love of the game podcast. Now it is erased from history because Jeremy can't handle online banter or his alcohol. You get what you deserve. And then this picture, you know what? Gator AIDS really loves this picture. And you know what? It's pretty funny. Probably should have put this up here on the beginning, just to be fair. Okay. Okay, then following this, because he had pissed off Neurotic, he had pissed off Count Dankula, he had pissed off Baring, he was losing his internet slap fights left and right, opening new fronts in the war to the disbelief of all involved, and not able to handle it anymore, he deleted his Twitter. Now, here is an interesting caveat about deleting your Twitter. You have 30 days to undelete your Twitter. If you do not undelete your Twitter in this time, it is gone forever, which includes the handle, the quartering, is also gone forever. So, here is the real question. This happened on Sunday at 11 a.m., so 30 days from Sunday. Let's see, 7, 14, 21. Would that be the 7th of June? He has until the 7th of June, I believe. Wait, 20. Tuesday, actually. That would be 28 days. So he has some time in early June to undelete it. And the question is he going to undelete it? I remember what H3 did when he deleted Twitter because of my heckin' anti-Semitisms and shit, is he locked it and privated it, basically, and doesn't do anything with it. So the question is he going to walk that back? I think he will. I don't think there's a chance in hell he's going to keep it deleted. Okay, so So this is when he was still lying about it. He said, "To be honest, it's my opinion that this obviously is because of the mass false flagging from the very people who claim to be against it. These losers never cared about free speech. They are worse than anything they ever accused anyone else of." That is such a profound statement. When you know, like, just think about this for a second. He knows he did it himself. He knows it, and he still writes this. So his entire gambit is to sacrifice the precious thing and hit a 2-for-1, two birds, one stone. He's going to delete the evidence and hide the fact that he was made fun of in the comments of his own video, and possibly transcripts of things not recorded. And then also epically own Pay and Andy Worski. Just think for a second how stupid you have to be to think that that gambit is in the cards. Like, there's even a 1% chance that is a likely outcome. Like, in his head, while he's sitting there drinking his Fireball, he thinks, like, let's just show him. And then everyone is pouring out in support. Oh my God, PPP and Andy Worski did what? Brittany Venti was involved in this, taking down this podcast. Like, all the people who only follow like Dankula and Bering coming in like the winged hussars. Like, my liege, we are here to relieve you. The vicious Kino Casino will be held at bay. The Ottomans will not conquer Vienna. And they're coming down from the hills, and it's like, then the winged hussars arrived. And then it's like, don't worry, Quartering, we believe you. They're the real faggots. And yeah, whoa, buddy, big support. And they're like charging in there and saying, like, look, they're the bad guys all along, and this is bullshit. Don't make fun of Jeremy Hambly. Like, that's what he thought would happen. It would just turn the tables completely on them, and they'd be epically owned. It's just shocking. Like, only in video game logic would you even have like the 1 in 20 dice roll chance of pulling this shit off. But in the practicality, there was never a moment that had a realistic chance of success. And then within the hour, he was forced to admit, and I don't think I have this actually pulled up, but he was forced to admit because Dankula got to him behind the scenes and said, "You better know up to this shit and tell people what you did." And he did. He did not say he was a sorry-filled bitch, though, but he did say he made a mistake. So this is just people digging into Chrissy Meyer. In 2022 and 2023, she also flagged down some videos, apparently. So she has no moral qualms. She understands the Hambly perspective on this quite well. Here is her embarrassing herself further. Speaking of Charlottesville and... what's his face? The guy that is what the fuck is his name? Who's the guy that impregnated Rabin Hitler? How did I forget his name? I knew it earlier. Richard Spencer, that's it. So speaking of Charlottesville and Richard Spencer, here is Chrissy Meyer, who apparently also went to that thing and recorded a bunch of stuff. She had a very specific use for the footage she recorded.
Adam, how do you feel? Because Chrissy was famously at January 6th and did not get in trouble whatsoever. And you could have, didn't they call you or something?
I could carry a podium. Just I didn't need to go in and see if I could.
But I'm saying, like, didn't they call you, Chrissy? Like, didn't the FBI call you?
Yeah, they called my house. They wanted to confirm that a video I posted on Facebook was actually mine, so they could use it to prosecute people.
Oh my God.
So she's a narc, and she gave over all the evidence, and they were using that to prosecute people, and they spared her. Which there was someone else. Oh, Nick Fuentes during January 6th. He managed to avoid prosecution somehow through a similar vein, allegedly. Now, in response to this, Chrissy Meyer has received her own Kiwi Farms thread. They put in the work. Riordan steel with the beautiful Latvian flag. I have seen that precise flag in person. I know exactly where it's at. I once had a layover overnight in Riga, and I had to take a cab from the Riga airport to a hotel. And I remember it was at night, but I could still see it. It was on the other side of a bridge. It was this massive flagpole with this enormous Latvian flag on it. So I know exactly where that is in real life. Anyways, Chrissy Meyer now has a thread. Oh, look. Hey, it's Ralph. Isn't that nice? Wow, lady, you got a big enough push-up bra? Oh, with Red Bar. Okay. Look, I don't know the whole Chrissy Meyer lore, but she's been on the Ralph Show. She's been on Red Bar. She's been on Nick Rekieta, more Nick Rekieta, Friday Night Tights. She gets around. I don't know how to say that nicely. She gets around, chat. That's a great Ralph clip. Should I watch it? Ralph and his mother. Ralph attempts to explain the meaning of felted to Mayor.
Final codicil to sign there. So
Thank you. Raw alerts with the best super chat. Just saying nothing. That's great. Arclight. Hey Ralph, what's it like getting felted by a pink anime rabbit?
I don't know because I never saw. Just blocked the
Peppa Pigskin mentioned.
loser, and I really never watched anything.
can't get away from
him.
him.
What does felted mean? Because I saw that a couple times in the chat.
What does felted?
When you get up the ass like flamenco likes to do. I'm not sure. I don't really know the whole terminology. I think maybe that's when you get up the ass. No Vaseline. Perhaps the felt is like the noise. I don't know really, but
It's definitely in the ass though.
something like that.
Dude.
It's ass is definitely happening. Yeah.
I miss this era of Ralph where like he wore this pink polo shirt because it literally just makes him look like a pig. Like this is an outfit that if you had to anthropomorphize like a pig character in a movie, he would be wearing like a pink polo shirt like this.
That's new. That's new to me. I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot. I'm learning a lot of this stream.
Like I don't know terms. Okay. Coast.
Okay. Anyways, that's the Chrissy Meyer thread. And I saved this one for last. As someone observed, the Pulverizer observed today that Hambly has a new naming convention for his videos. And just like how I really enjoy the fact that he pumps out that YouTube short slot because it shows how desperate he is and how much he has to work just to get by these days, this is also very desperate. You can see he's just got regular clickbait titles. Blue Sky in full blow. Can't even sit down to type out the title. Doxing Ice Karens find out. Blue Sky in full blow meltdown after massive data leak. She's cooked with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. I don't know. No, that's the British guy. Never mind. Tim Pool just proved it's all fake. Killer Karen. Karen runs down kid on bike. These videos, by the way, he's trying to copy these very, very popular YouTube body cam things. Here's how you make $1 million, okay? Here's a business proposal for everybody. Go to a state that has sunshine laws. Go to the arrest records. Find any woman who is arrested for any sort of drunken, disorderly conduct and is very young, right? So just filter it down to alcohol-related and sort by age. Lower the better. Find beaches on Florida, right? And then take the body cam footage of women in skimpy clothing, either from going clubbing or going out to the beach and being in a bikini, getting arrested for disorderly conduct while intoxicated, and then put it in a video. Put your logo on the video and then title the video, Drunk Karen Gets What She Deserves, and Photoshop her face to be like bludgeoned and bloody and bruised. You will guaranteed get 1 million hits, okay? And you'll make $100,000. So he's trying to replicate this phenomenon. Dumb bitch Karen gets what she deserves. Exactly right. That's a banger right there. You just got to make sure if she's crying, you get a frame of her crying, right? And you make that the thumbnail. If you can get cleavage and crying in the same frame, that is your thumbnail automatically. And that is a guaranteed platinum record as far as YouTube is concerned. Stupid Karen gets brutally by the legal system. That's right. Donald Trump, FBI raids corrupt Democrat and Ilhan Omar in huge trouble. She's on drugs and her career is over. YouTube ad-ocalypse. I think it's adpocalypse, not it's not ad-ocalypse. It's called Apocalypse Gets Worse. And then his new naming convention. Hantavirus panic, Gen Z demanding lockdowns and some very very odd coincidences. And then it has a little pipe there and it says the quartering. So his gambit now is that he's getting clobbered in SEO so hard, he's having to reinsert the quartering into his video titles to try and block out shit like Joon the King, who is rectally ravaging him in terms of his own name recognition. Very funny. Here's the other ones. Elon Musk and Matt Walsh cause epic meltdown. And of course, there's Smug, and then the evil Ellen Page. The Ellen Page. It's nice to kick Ellen Page down. She's only been by the entire industry. She even tried to get into video games, and they her too. And it's very nice to kick her down, okay? The quartering's downfall explained in 15 minutes or less by Tactical Templar. That's funny. He knows it's over from Yellow Flash 2. Is there anything to say about quartering? I feel like it's run its course. There's more people getting flagged. The Kino Cathedral thing got flagged. And supposedly it's somebody else besides the quartering, but we're just gonna blame the quartering. I know that someone else took credit for it, but it's sort of like when a terror attack happens in Islam. And then like all these different terror groups try to take credit for it. It's like, are we really going to sit here and split hairs and try to identify the flaggets? No, we're just going to blame Jeremy. Like blame Canada in that song on South Park. We're blaming Jeremy. It's his fault. He started it. We all hate him. He is the enemy, okay? Never forget the vile enemy, Jeremy Hambley, okay? Has anything else happened? I think the big plot line of Jeremy Hambley at this point is that he's flailing so desperately to try to find something that works for him that he's now trying to stream at like 9 a.m. because he just has no idea what to do anymore. And he just thinks that if he moves his time slot earlier, he's going to get like the early bird working men to like listen to him in the morning. And that'll be his slot, which is a very perplexing thing to me. The funny thing that they point out on Kino Casino when talking about this is that him waking up at 9 a.m. means that Melony Mac also has to wake up at 9 a.m. So like a beaten dog, he's just dragging her along with. And she just has to cope with it. It's her job now. She has to wake up at 8 a.m., do her full face of makeup, and then sit in front of the camera first thing in the morning. And he's aiming for the boomer. It's true. Old people like to wake up really early. That's your slot. You start streaming at 6 a.m. and you call it Good Morning Rumble. And then you're just like, Good Morning Rumble. And then you just cover like all, but you talk very slowly. Maybe that's why that's his audience. He's just talking in a way that boomers can understand. He's like, good morning. Oh my gosh, praise Jesus. It's another beautiful day here in the United States of America. I sure do have some news for you all. Hopefully, some good news. And then you just do that and you just like talk to like old people. And then all the old people in America will put on Rumble on their TV thing and or their iPad. And they'll just watch that while they're like, because they've been awake for 3 hours already. So then, literally Aaron's Steel Toe morning show. Yeah, I guess so. Because he was on FM radio. That's an idea for the Hambley. Hambley needs to get syndicated on FM for a 6 a.m. slot across the U.S. where he can talk about Trump or whatever and how much he loves Trump. That'll be popular. I was driving, and for a short drive, I didn't want to plug in my phone to listen to music, so the radio was on, and it was like some public access radio television thing, or not radio television, but just like a radio show. I was very surprised, number one, that this still exists, but like, what was it? Oh, it was a guy talking about how his parents were terrorists, and they detonated bombs to destroy like government buildings while he was a child, and then they turned themselves in, and the government like dropped all the charges, and they got like 1 year in jail. They were part of something called like the Weather Underground or something. He's trying to shill his book, but it was like public radio, and he was just like, yeah, I didn't totally agree with like all of their politics, But it makes a lot more sense now that we live in fascism, and we need to like consider if maybe we should blow up more government buildings. And this was just like on PBS or some shit. I'm like, what the so very strange. Yeah, it was like hippie eco terrorists. And it was like on PBS. It was like PBS radio. I was like, huh, that's strange. Or NPR. That's it, NPR, sorry. I don't usually listen to NPR. Okay. I have nothing more to say about Jeremy Hambley. I find him asinine. But we have to bully him. We have to thumbs down all his videos and thumbs down all the comments to his videos. And you have to continually make fun of him until he suffers. That's the gist of this, okay?